additions?
Yes.
Yep. We have a motion to approve.
I
Okay.
Did you motion? Did you motion first? Oh, okay, I'll second that.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion is approved, the agenda is approved. The next item is approval of the minutes. And we have the minutes. And everyone who wanted to review the minutes has.
There were some mistakes on the minutes.
Okay. Then let's go ahead and discuss those.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, for those present, it shows Kathy Boston, and it should be Kathy Drumright.
That's correct.
And then also present, we have Eric Janicki's name misspelled. I don't know if that matters to y'all, but it's Janecky. I think it is E. Under public comments, it says that he expressed interest in the interim director's position. He did not. He expressed interest in volunteering to assist tourism in any way that they may need.
Yes, that's correct.
And that was all of my.
The correct spelling of his name is Janecke, not I. Why'd you call that? I didn't like it. A motion to approve.
I second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, very good. We'll move into public comment. We have Mr. Marcus Williams here.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Marcus Williams. Just came to see that. I personally native of Sumner County, Gallatin, and I'm a small business owner that have been impacted tremendously by tourism. So I thought this would be a great way to just to gain more knowledge, kind of see where the sites are headed, kind of sit in and see the goals and vision of the board. And I appreciate you guys for having me here.
Thank you.
All right, the next item is signing authority to access and reconcile. Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, the next item is approve. Yeah, we need to vote for the salary.
The salary.
Yeah, I second.
It's just so I'm clear because I was not at the last meeting. It is, well,
$50 an hour.
$50 an hour. Yes.
thank you.
Yep, and I second the motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. That is officially approved. Next item on the agenda, signing authority to access and reconcile bank records. A motion to approve signing authority for Mark Efros so that he can sign checks and that he can reconcile the bank records which have not been reconciled for some time, so that does need to be addressed.
To approve that.
Okay.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion is approved. Oh, any opposed? All right, the motion is approved.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yes.
As you're doing these, you might want to just pause a second, and once you do a motion in a second, it is open for discussion. You might want to make sure that nobody wants to discuss the issue that's being voted on, but that's just a.
So do we open for
Side-
discussion before we?
No, you're good. You've passed it, so it's good.
Can you make that motion, please?
What's that?
Okay.
Mary.
Thank you.
All right, very good.
I wanted to voice himself.
Yep, that's okay.
I'm sorry, I should look at you.
No, it's fine. All right, the next item on the agenda is the Executive Director Subcommittee. And I'm proposing that we put together a subcommittee consisting of board officers to review all the submitted resumes and identify 2 to 3 qualified candidates to present to the board. An ad hoc meeting with the executive committee would be necessary prior to that so that we can bring the candidates to the floor.
I'll make a motion to discuss.
I'll second.
All right, let's go ahead and discuss. No, I mean,
So, I'm not sure how much time that's gonna take, but I probably can't do it because I work full time.
I don't know if it needs to be everyone or all of the officers. What are you, I mean, does anyone have an opinion on the matter? The number. I mean, I work full time too, right? I'm not gonna lie, and I have a farm. I'm a minister. So, like, out of all the things I do for free, this one takes a little bit of time to do. And we need to make sure that we've got the right people identifying the
Depends on
candidates.
how often, it depends on how often it is that we meet. Honestly, I have patient load that it's different than farming.
No, I agree. I mean, yeah, I'm not
I
a
mean,
farmer for a living.
I know.
I'm retired.
Are you, you're
I'm retired.
I did this the last time.
I'm not questioning. I think
Mandy, are you
I think
interested?
all humans are
I'm
busy.
on the executive committee, so I don't know how.
Well,
All
he's
humans are
just saying, and I think, did you
If
mean
we
that?
rely on
they-
100% of the board to do this, it will never get done.
I think he's just saying
And it would
3
be an
people,
ad-hoc
so
meeting. would
I
just
don't
need
think
3
it,
people.
are you calling it the executive committee because? Or were you
No,
thinking it was?
It's subcommittee. It's just
Yeah.
a subcommittee. I said consisting of board officers, but if it's not just board officers, then we can do just members of the board who are interested, right? The board
So
board
vice
officers
chair-
would
vice
be
chair is
president, yeah, or would be the chair, vice chair, treasurer. So
like I said, as long as it's not like days and days in a row.
I mean, like meeting every other week.
it would
Maybe
not be
we
that.
did
Yeah, no,
that.
it would not
3
be
times
that.
a week, you know, all that.
It would not be that. I would say
I mean, I
we
have
probably need one meeting, or
Well, yeah.
probably 1 hour
What
to
is,
review. We don't have it set, right? We would have to set that.
Will this same committee conduct the interviews as well and come back with a recommendation to the full board?
Yes. Yeah.
So probably a meeting to select
Meeting to
the
select.
candidates and then the interview
Meeting
process.
to interview, and then
score them, I do like a scoring sheet, like we score them. But you can't talk about them, you can't deliberate. Can't deliberate unless you're gonna do it in open, am I right? You cannot deliberate on who you discuss unless you do it, you interview them, because I went through this with the resource authority. You interview them and then you score them or however you wanna do it, and then you bring back your scoring and then you discuss it in the meeting,
On camera.
Right, all of your deliberations take place on the camera.
yeah, that's
Right, that's what
right.
I'm
So
saying.
we would
Yes.
have, yeah, so that's when, so
You can't
we would
talk-
interview and then we would have an ad hoc meeting with
Yeah.
the members of the executive committee.
So what we did with Zoe was the chairman did all the phone interviews.
Yes.
We all went through resumes, the whole, I can't remember, we went through resumes and then we picked out 3 or 4 that we liked, but we did it in executive session when we were doing all of that. So that was off the camera. Then the chairman made phone calls and then they brought back the candidate to do the presentation. So, I'm just saying I'm saying that's what this board did a little over a year ago. So I think that someone to send out resumes, someone to agree, send out resumes, go through resumes, pick 3
It probably
candidates,
needs to be three
phone
people.
calls.
One of them will be me.
and then the interview process. And they have to interview or do a presentation like we did with interim.
That cannot be executive session.
No, it cannot.
It
That's
will
why I
not
said, yeah.
Is the interview actually conducted on camera as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
Should be. Ask Eric.
I know mine was.
When, has the job officially been posted to the Sumner County website?
The job has not yet been posted.
Okay, and then it has to be left open for how long?
That's a great question for a Sumner County employee. I'm just a
It's
citizen.
30
I have no
days.
clue.
Yeah, I think you've got latitude to create that path, but
Yep.
consistency is the key.
I'm trying to get a sense of what the time frame would be for the subcommittee actually starting.
Yes.
So-
It would, yeah. The subcommittee would probably start, since it's July now. August is, yeah, probably September. Honestly, before we'd have candidates.
So you would solicit the job opening to the website, taking application through X date,
Period.
30 days, and then close it, and then start the ad hoc review.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's like kind of what we did at Resource.
Now, all of those people that submitted resumes before they're done, right?
Wade Evans was, and I guess is still interested. He said, said he couldn't do it this summer. Wade Evans wanted to be considered for executive director. Linda Evgen wanted to be considered. And I think Kevin Johnson still.
I would suggest that you contact them and tell them if they still are, because they may have decided on something else.
When you say you mean someone.
Someone.
Just want to be clear.
Or, do they need to resubmit?
Yeah.
You know.
I would say,
My suggestion is you just, if you want to notify somebody, let them know that it's been opened again.
Yes.
You need to go through the same hoops as everybody else.
Correct.
Okay.
And that's exactly right. So we'll post the position. We'll let interested candidates know that it's posted. They can apply or not apply. The subcommittee will review the resumes. If they review the resumes from people that have applied before and agree that those people are still qualified or should be qualified, then they would go to the interview phase. And then after the interview phase by members of the subcommittee, then the subcommittee would select the 2 to 3 candidates that we would propose to the board. Those people would come and interview in front of the board, and then the final selection would happen with the commission.
Yes, well, what the board sends the approval, then the county commission has to elect.
Yeah, so that is the process.
So you want the executive committee, so it will be you and the Kathy, can you do it?
yes, I'm assuming like the ad hoc committee would probably commence around September 1st-ish.
Probably about that time.
Okay, yes.
Are you traveling again? You have so much fun.
Well, no, it's with my mom,
Oh, okay.
so, yeah, but I should be okay.
So we won't set the date for that today, right?
Right.
We just know for purpose of people who are interested in being part of the subcommittee, which we would need one additional person to be a member of the subcommittee.
I'm happy to help you. I don't want to sound like I'm not interested.
But you're not. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just
But I
kidding.
will help.
So it is gonna be the executive board, or whatever it's
It
called.
don't have to be, but
It would be
It's in the bylaws.
board officers. Oh, yeah.
Yes, board officers,
Yeah.
yes, officers. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want to do it, so y'all have fun.
That's fine. We'll work around our schedule. One question I have on that is, if the meeting is recorded, can it be virtual, or do we have to get together in a room and do it for an ad hoc discussion?
that's a good question.
No, it has to be here because it's got to be publicly noticed and go through the same formalities as this meeting.
Even for an ad hoc subcommittee.
Even even an ad hoc of the ad hoc. So I believe you now need a motion to create the ad hoc.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry I'm late. Let's take 5 o'clock.
So I make a motion to create an ad hoc committee for the selection of the executive director.
I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Motion is passed. Any other discussion on that topic?
You might want to do something appointing the members if you already know who they are. For minutes, yeah.
Okay, all right. So the members of the subcommittee are myself, David Staples,
Kathy Osley.
Mary Janine.
oh yeah, we got to vote. Okay, there we go. I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Okay, give a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right. We have the ad hoc committee selected, and the next steps are outlined in the minutes. The next item is acceptance of the bylaws. So,
I'll make a motion to discuss the bylaws.
in favor?
So these bylaws are exactly the bylaws that we all were given in our packet. The same bylaws we said we would look at for the last 6 months, these right here with my notes all over them. So I was reading them and I retyped them because I don't have a scanner at home. And had the county law director look at them because when I was reading them, I noticed that some of them had things in there that as the tourism board, we did not have to do. And I remember that when Mary Lee and them brought the bylaws to us, she said that they were the same bylaws they had used at the Chamber of Commerce. And they had just put, because our old bylaws were so, whatever they called it, where they just printed them off, you know, the 4-page bylaws, the original bylaws. So so Mary Lee had already put the new resolution in terms of members, et cetera, into these bylaws. But when I started reading them, like membership, and you know, down here it says any action. If you look at Article 4 on page 1, and then red, these are things that we could strike. And I had the county law, not the law director, but staff attorney look at it. And I just changed it to this corporation shall have no members, not changed it. I mean, it's there. We can leave all the stuff in red or we can take all the stuff in red out. But we don't need the things in red to function. And then, except for the footnote, which is blue, like in our regular meetings, so if you go down to section 5.6, it said special call, it was just special meetings. I changed it to reflect open meeting law, which is a special called meeting. And we don't have to post, we can post our meeting notices, for instance, just on the Sumner County Tourism website. We don't have to, so because it says given personally by mail, email, or phone. And then in our annual meetings, there were dates that conflicted in these other bylaws. Some were in July and some were in September. So we need to decide when the annual meeting will be. I know it has always been in July, but we haven't had an annual meeting in July this year. And on section 5.8, it says directors in the red, directors may participate in and act In any meeting, use a conference telephone or other communication equipment. So these things in red, I think we need to discuss. And then the duties of board members in section F, adoption of standing rules and policies as deemed necessary. I just think, if y'all want to look at that, we currently have a set of bylaws that we are under. It's just up to y'all how y'all want to do that. The amendments,
Can we just go through them?
yeah, we can. Yeah, I just want, just letting y'all know that's what I did. So y'all don't, you know.
So I'll address you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah,
So, under membership, so this corporation shall have no members, which corporation, non-corporation.
we are a corporation.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
With this, with no members.
No, well, right, because members means that we elect members, like chambers of commerce, Mandy, y'all have members, correct? So we do not collect dues, so I thought that was a redundancy to say.
I'll have to check on that because it could affect your corporate charter. Just to be a corporation in the state of Tennessee, I believe there have to be some members allocated, so I'll have to check on that.
Members would be the board, though, right, correct?
Yes, as long as they're identified, you could make them the board by default.
Saying that this shall have no members, it would say something like, the corporation shall consist of members of the board.
Or just shall constitute a board.
Yeah.
So, okay.
So do the items in red cover that statement?
Our other bylaws said this corporation shall have no members.
That's
The
right.
original bylaws state that.
I don't have a problem necessarily with the members. It's
Uh-huh.
just, I need to see the term of art being used
Okay.
when you file a corporation in the state. That's all I need to do. It's not about tourism in and of itself.
Yes.
But if you changed it to be constituted of a board, I think the red can still come out and you're fine.
So this corporation shall be constituted of a board.
Something along those lines, yes.
As noted in Article 5. Probably is, but it's a good one to put that.
You could put that, yes.
And what, in Article 5?
Yes, yeah, board is constituted in Article 5.
Okay. And I will go home and type these. I will take, I wanted us to go ahead and have the bylaws laid to bed, laid to rest.
Yes, they keep coming up, so.
And then I'll send you all the copy on your email so you can keep them and memorize them.
If you like, I'll have somebody draft these out in Word and send it out to you, and then you can edit and do what you want from there. That helps you any?
That's fine. I can take the note. I mean, I can take it and do it. It's up to y'all. Okay. So in 5.5, in regular meeting, I tried.
Yeah, I agree with that. So essentially what you're saying is let's get rid of all these different ways to do it and we're gonna commit to announcing regular board, and we're gonna be providing the information with written notice on the SCT website.
Right.
If I can make one suggestion
Yes,
there.
you
Notice of regular meetings of the Board of Directors shall be given, I think 1 week in advance needs to come out and just roll right into the blue. That way you're not pigeonholing yourself with a 6-day notice.
Aren't required by law to do that for a public meeting?
No, it's 48 hours.
Okay.
Let me ask a silly question. Does that mean that you have to constantly check the website to know if we're having a meeting?
No, we would send emails.
What it means is that we're no longer legally bound to send smoke signals.
Okay.
And
Well, I get that.
the states
The facts and all
recognize,
that, but I'm just like.
I would expect the director to take care of that because the director has
Right.
been in the past.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is probably more for public.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. Yes.
Just want to clarify.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then in 5.6, special call meetings.
It's better wording.
Yeah, less than 2 days' notice to each director, okay, with written notice on the website, and get rid of the red,
Yes.
yes, okay.
Okay.
So I'm marking through it. And then annual meetings, since we have changed and we elect board members in September, do y'all want to keep annual meeting in July? Or,
That would be the old board.
right, so do you want to move it to September or go
I
to
would say
October?
September for 2 reasons. One, the way the new board is there, and the budget is finalized.
Yeah, because this year we don't even know. Our budget may not, we don't, we're voting, supposed to vote on it on July 29th, but state law does not require the budget be turned in and approved until September 1st. The county budget.
August 31st.
Right.
Is it?
August
I'm so
31st.
sorry.
Correct.
Well, what's one more day?
There's a big difference.
It means bills don't get
So we
paid.
want to strike July and leave it September.
The only hitch, there's gonna be your coterminous status with people that are either not running again or not reelected. And then you're jumping through hoops to fill that through the new board, new commissioners creating the committees and
The new
assigning.
commissioners take office the 1st of September.
If that's the date, then you should be okay, because you all actually still have to do it and then run it through commission anyway. So that should work fine.
So September, okay. And then change that term from fiscal year, I just changed it to 1-year term.
I agree with that.
And on the quorum, I personally do not, and that's why I put it in red, 5.8. I opted to strike, directors can participate using conference phone. And I know we've done that in these meetings, but I opted to strike that, but that's what I opted to do.
Isn't no, this is different, but the commission, we cannot do that.
School board can, commissions can't,
Yeah, so,
which is bizarre, but
Oh, they can,
School- yeah. that law was changed with COVID and they still allow school boards to do it, was my understanding, but commissions can't.
Look, we already have another
Change
code.
it.
To amend the bylaws at that point.
Yeah.
I'm okay with striking.
Do y'all
Well, and I think the state gave an opinion on how meetings could be conducted publicly for COVID, and all governing bodies followed that.
Right.
has it stayed that way?
That they released the COVID restrictions.
Correct.
So you have to go back to the
So
regular
no
process.
more.
Electronic voting, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you strike that.
yeah, you can't electronic.
And then on section 5.9, electronic voting by board members will be permitted. So if we strike the one, then we have to strike this too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then duties of board members. F I thought we didn't need, because I don't know that we've ever had standing rules and policies since. But then who was responsible for in B, I thought that was redundant. So that's it.
It is.
It is.
Yeah, that doesn't.
If you might want to keep in there for the sole purposes of policies, there may come a time where you all want the ability to create those. You may not need them now, but you may in the future.
Yeah.
So here we are at 6.2 election term. We had been voting in July. Do we want to go back September to electing officers?
Well, you would, because if you go to September, the people that roll off, like the commissioners, you would keep your citizen board, but your commission board, and that's when committee on committee would start rolling those people on.
Okay, so
September would probably.
let's cross out July.
'Cause you're not gonna know who's gonna be there or not.
Okay, so top of the year, top of the page.
All
Okay,
right.
so this one was leave at September 1.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing you might change there is you don't know that your meetings are going to be September 1st. You might want to change that to commencing on the scheduled September meeting or something along those lines.
Yeah.
I don't think that's September 1, though.
That's September.
No.
That was,
Yeah.
that would be
That
at
was
the
annual
same
meeting.
meeting, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah,
meeting in
okay.
September. Yep.
All right.
It didn't give a date, it just said.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then office of the chairman shall have the power to call special cold.
Yeah,
the only
I was
thing
just
I added
adding that.
there.
Yep, I agree.
Mhm.
And then office of treasurer, I thought those duties were just enormous. So, and
Yeah, I agree with that. I felt like they were like redundant to what the executive director's responsibilities.
Well, especially
would be.
given the fact that the treasurer has no insight into anything.
Right, most of this is done by the staff, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I agree with everything that you struck
And
out.
I didn't add anything in there, I just struck, okay. And then section 8, executive director, I thought, the board will be responsible for disciplinary action and termination. I thought should the need arise was not necessary.
I agree with that.
I'm sorry, but back on 6.7, do you want to put anything in there that says something to the effect that their work is at the direction of the chairman, or because the chairman could foreseeably ask for some of this stuff that's in red, but I don't think it necessarily needs to be a duty to constantly stay on top of it.
Or would we want to keep with the concurrence of the chairman? Or at the, there's that first sentence that I had read, at the request of the chairman.
Or at the chairman's direction.
I do have a question about this though.
Mm-hmm.
Because our budget is, our money is approved by the budget,
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't it be wise to have Mr. Lawing kind of review or no?
He can't do that because of our separate status.
Okay.
They just write the check and the board is responsible for
How you use it.
disbursement.
Got it, okay.
So how do we want to do that first sentence?
I would say, I would leave this first sentence the way it is, the office of the treasurer, right? Treasurer shall manage and just maybe set another statement that says, or other.
Y'all have to tell
Other
me.
duties
Y'all have to
as,
tell me because.
What about what he said? At the direction of the chairman, at the chairman's direction.
with the concurrent, well, yeah, when you
Okay.
direction, just, yeah, I agree with.
So,
The treasurer
Just
shall.
leave that first portion in.
Oh, okay.
So you want to keep in with the concurrence of the chairman, the treasurer shall report periodically on corporation finances. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah, I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Because periodically can mean when he asks or whatever. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're keeping this.
So we're striking the phrase, manage the financial affairs of the corporation, prepare regular reports and corporate finances. So that's gone, which I agree with. Report periodically, what's in black, I agree. And then everything else in red strike. So we, yeah, I agree with that.
Right. So we went through 6.8.
Should the needs arise.
Then amendment, except as otherwise required by law. These bylaws may be amended, added to, or repealed by 2/3 vote of the entire board of directors. The 2/3 is what was in the other, was in the original bylaws. Is that standard, 2/3 to amend the bylaws?
Yes.
Okay, And then, and
So
I think
that,
the rest of this is
basically what
still,
that means is that no amendment can occur unless 100% of the board is available to vote and 2/3.
That gets us back to the phone and
yeah.
stuff. So I think it's, the change that's made is good because it is very specific and it doesn't create a corner that you paint yourself into when you try to do this in the future.
Yes.
So strike all the red part there on
Yeah,
the
and
amendments.
then the conflict or duality of interest. That's a lot to read.
Yeah, but that hasn't changed since last time, other than the last
Yeah,
section.
right.
So,
Because it says we're gonna have these conflicts, but this is, I don't. I can see in a chamber where you would have all of this
yeah.
crossing.
Are we on 12.4 now?
No, well, there's 12.1, there's red, all the way through 12.4, yes.
I agree with striking.
12.4, I don't know if
I think we should
you
keep,
don't know if something's gonna come up after they're on the board. You need to have some caveat where if there's an interest, it's gotta be disclosed.
so we wanna keep that,
I almost think so.
okay, that's fine.
So keep 12.4.
Yes.
That's my suggestion.
And then we strike the other on 12.1.
Yes.
And then there's nothing further, that changed. So Eric, if you want to do this, you may, but I'm happy.
I'd love to.
Seriously? I'm happy.
He'd love to assign somebody to do it.
I am the secretary, this is secretarial.
No, I really don't mind. I can get it into Word format with what I believe to be the changes. I can get it to you all to review to make sure you're okay with it the next meeting. You can vote them in.
Okay, can you email them to us so we can preview them before we come to the meeting?
Everyone but you. Okay.
Be out of it. Do you want me to send you this document?
Is it in Word?
Yeah.
Yeah, if you would,
I
that'd
can
help.
send you this already typed, and I do not remove the border. It took me a long time to put that border on there. Or the footnote. I will
Sorry,
be
I thought I
very
was at home with my
disappointed.
wife there for a second. Yes, I will make it however you want. I'll put flowers around
So
it,
you have all the
butterflies.
changes?
Yes,
You want my copy with the changes?
I just need the Word. If you send me that, that makes it easier for me to
Yeah,
template it.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Y'all know how to change color up there and everything?
When you send it to us, will it be redlined?
Yes, Commissioner.
No, it'll be a final draft.
That'll be a file.
Okay.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah,
I guess if you keep this copy when he
right,
sends
but
you the new copy.
I'll just need to make sure
yeah.
that I do keep that with
Just
my
check
notes.
it.
Yeah.
So we don't need to vote to accept them as amended now, do we?
I was gonna ask, can we
That's
vote
up to you.
accept them as amended?
Yeah.
So we don't have to vote for it?
Even though we don't have a final copy, yeah, because this
Make
is
an
basically.
amendment.
Yeah, this is like doing a resolution that's been amended, so I don't have a problem doing that either. I just wanted you all to know you had an opportunity to look at it again if you choose.
So if he does look at it and if we vote for all this, and then he goes and looks at it, and then he has, problems, he has to change things, I would suggest that we make a motion.
I will not change anything unless it's been run through you. I will tell you we need another one. Otherwise, it's gonna be the changes you all said. I will be adding nothing personally. Yep.
Keep in mind, if we vote to, if we like have a motion see an issue, then we can vote to amend it.
Right.
If there's something that's a material change, which is fine, so, all right.
If it's something like a typo or something, we don't have to vote on that. That's
No.
just.
No, no, I'm not.
And you can make that part of your motion, amendment to include any typos.
I've caught all the time.
I found one, but I was curious if it was the
Seriously?
old one that you're removing.
Hat?
It was,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Oh, I thought I caught them all. Darn it.
it didn't matter. You were removing it anyway.
Oh, okay.
All right, well, I'm gonna make a motion. I'm gonna try and make this motion as accurate as possible before we get a second on it. So I motion to accept the amended bylaws as discussed with the caveat that if there are minor typos, those can be corrected and addressed without further motion to vote on it. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, the motion is passed.
Oh, y'all, we have about.
No way.
It's only been 2 years, huh?
All right, and so what that does, that moves it.
Well, they had, well, there were bylaws.
But they were obsolete, yeah.
Okay, well, next item is the director's report, which I think we've all been.
Well, it's good to be here with you. It's been 1 month and 1 day. Let me tell you what we've been doing. You'll see in our director's report, staffing, we reduced hours with Andrew Spicer. He took a position with the state of Fort Negley. We had to hire an additional tour guide interpreter, which we did. On June 26th, Linda King began her training, and 1 week after that, everyone was under the consensus she was up to speed to give proper tours on her own. And so now we have staffing of Andrew 1 day a week, Linda 2 to 3 days each week, and Jennifer filling in 1 to 3 days depending on availability. So we're fully staffed at Douglas Clark House Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We had the departure of Mason as the director of marketing prior to my appointment. We quickly filled that position, and I'm pleased to inform you that I've hired Cameron Marchi, who began work yesterday as the new director of marketing. She comes with extensive social media experience, website design, digital marketing, extracting data, and working with influencers, which is a new direction we want to go in this county, I think. Kelly ultimately had to resign on July 3rd without notice. It was not ugly in any way, shape, or form. It was a congenial departure. She had an issue with Social Security that prevented her from continuing to work. It was hurting her to be earning money. Right. As our federal government loves to do. Take that out of the notes. So as a result, we had to hire an administrative assistant / office manager, and I'm pleased to announce that we've hired Valerie Stewart, who is here with us tonight taking the minutes for that role. And she started yesterday and will also function as the receptionist at the Comer House. So as a result of that, we have eliminated 2 full-time positions and the accompanying benefits in the staff, and we are now fully staffed. I would like to request from the board approval to order credit cards for me and Cameron, our director of marketing.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I believe there was a limit on them, $2,000 or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but there was a limit when we had them previously.
Maddie, do you know?
I believe it was 2000. Is it 2000? I can't remember.
For any reason, we can't remove that.
Does it need to be higher?
I would recommend that it's higher.
If you're
based
traveling.
on- Yeah, exactly, personal experience with chamber. You have 1 or 2 charges on there and you travel, or if they place a hold when you check into a hotel, you quickly can go over your limit. So I would recommend $5,000 at least for the executive director.
Motion to change the
I move to amend the resolution to a $5,000 limit on credit cards for the executive director and $2,000 for the marketing.
okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That was just voting on the amendment. Now we have to vote on the main motion.
Okay, so there we go. So the main motion would be.
Order credit cards.
Credit cards, yes, okay, there we go. I motion that we order credit cards for marketing director and the executive.
It's already been mentioned, but we just have to vote on it. It's already been
Okay. Good. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Motion's passed.
With regards to travel, from what I've been able to gather, a year ago it was determined that we operate under per diem standards established by the IRS. And that is not appropriate because we're a quasi-government entity, and hotels and so forth will not honor that government per diem rate with us. We would have to pay full price. If they do that, they're in violation of GSA standards. So I'd like to propose that we no longer work under a per diem standard such as that, and that we just work under our budget and our normal controls and procedures.
I make a motion to do that, because he's right.
You want to just clearly state the motion again real quick?
Yeah, I make a motion that we strike, we operate under per diem standards established by the IRS, and that we utilize the per diem based on the budget allowance.
Operating under the budget allowance for
Yes,
travel?
yeah.
Okay, I second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Next, and this one is going to be a little bit more of a discussion, you can tell, because it's in the bylaws. In order to properly respond to sponsorship requests and to perhaps relieve the board of having to review those requests here, I propose that we raise the $4,000 check signing limit or remove it completely so we can, again, operate within the approved budget.
So is it 4,000 now that a board member has to be a second signature on it? Is that correct?
Yes.
I don't have a problem with keeping that myself.
Why would it be a problem to do that?
It's getting someone over there and really, in my opinion, just burdening the board with approvals and so forth, having to bring things to the board that can be handled internally. It's not a control issue. I could care less. If you want to come sign them, that's fine. I'm just.
So do you know, based on what you've found, what the average, like, allocation is, like what you were, because we have to co-sign, I've never co-signed yet, so what would be like an average allocation that would be?
There are, sponsorship-wise, the majority are going to be under the $4,000 limit. There's probably about 7 or 8 that are above that amount. You're all familiar with them, Big Fest and Triple SA and those, the ones we've all familiar with. But there's also expenses in advertising. Typical advertising campaigns are $15,000, $20,000 a pop. And so, to come and have to present that to the board or to get somebody to sign that check, it's really up to you how you want to proceed with that.
When I was treasurer, I was secretary and go. No, I was vice chairman, I think. I don't remember. Things changed so much. I was vice chairman. I would go in and sign checks for payroll because they didn't feel comfortable being the only signature on a payroll check. But it's not made up to them. So, I would do that. But otherwise, I didn't have, every once in a while I'd go in, there'd be 3 or 4 checks to sign, but it usually wasn't too much at all.
If we raise the limit to like $8,000.
Can I clarify one thing first? Your bullet point here states that this is for sponsorship requests, but one thing you just mentioned was in regards to advertising.
Yeah.
Those are 2 different things.
That's correct. I really should have put that in the paragraph, but it's for any purpose, just to sign a check for any purpose.
Yeah, anything over 4,000 has to be signed.
7 or 8 doesn't seem like great frequency out of the course of a year. And I don't know if all of these are coming at one time or if it's scattered out.
I don't think in the last year, I don't think I've signed a check that was more than $5,000. Maybe 1 or 2, but that's about it.
If you're concerned about it, let's just withdraw the recommendation. That's fine. It's not important to me. I just was trying to streamline.
I mean,
Let's see
to
how
be
it-
honest, right?
let's see how it goes.
Three board members who can sign and three board members, you know, four board members who can sign. So if the four board members who can't sign, raise your hand if you've signed a check in the last month, 2 months, 3 months. That's right. It's a pain in my rear. I'm not gonna lie because I live 40 minutes away from the Comer
I
house.
live 5 minutes.
I'm not that far, it's just I was on vacation that one time.
Yeah.
I used to go every
And
week.
so signing a check for $5,000. So
I would say I haven't because first of all, I hadn't have signature, but communication to me was an issue. So if somebody text me a message and said, hey, can you come by and sign a check? I gotta, we're having everyone else is busy or whatever, I'd be glad to come by. I mean, I work full time, but I'm not that far away.
It's her turn.
It's my turn, I guess.
So I would say there's probably two distinct items that we probably need to discuss, just to clarify, right? Number one, sponsorship requests, right, that are over $4,000, 100% of those have to be presented to the board during a board meeting for review and approval.
Correct.
Which can sometimes slow down the process, and you're recommending that we increase that limit? Or are you just saying
I was talking about check signing, but yes.
just check signing in general?
I would recommend we eliminate any approval for sponsorships. We have a budget, we're gonna stay within it. We already have a control in place for that.
Yeah, they had that. We had not been approving sponsorships until Zoe asked for us to help her with it.
That is
Had
correct.
y'all ever done that?
No.
And in the minutes, y'all had given, the minutes that I read at some point, like in the before 20, y'all had given Barry full sponsorship authority with no board approval.
The treasurer was just going occasionally to sign big checks, but it
yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
4,000.
That's
So
what
let's
I'm saying.
so let's address
There
those
was
two things
no
separately
limit
then,
on
right? So
sponsorships
yeah.
for, like Barry could sponsor whatever.
So we could just say on this note that it's in regard to sponsorships.
Well, I would say
Just
this.
removing
I would
check signing.
say for sponsorships, right? We remove the stipulation that sponsorships need to be presented to the board and approved by the board. That it should be managed under the normal operation of the business. That's what you're saying, and we're saying that that's how it used to be until Zoe asked if we would participate in that, but it was never done like that in the past.
Right. Barry-
And there were a lot
Barry
of
just came and
things-
gave a report.
And there were a lot of things that were sponsored that we probably would not have sponsored if it come to a vote. Occasionally, there were things like that.
Well, do you like having the sponsorship authority?
Which was why she wanted to present it to the board,
Right.
because she felt like she was seeing some things that probably.
That she didn't want to
that
sponsor.
She didn't want to sponsor.
Wanted some guidance and some
Yeah.
help.
And
Right.
that some of
Yeah.
them were asking for an exorbitant amount, where they were asking for 2 or 3 times the amount they'd gotten last year.
Right. I would say this though, right? If the director would like to present specific sponsorships to the board, then by all means. But however, we're not set. What we're recommending changing is don't make it mandatory, right?
But here he's asking, this is specifically about signing checks.
Right. So what I'm trying to do is separate the check signing
Right.
from the other issue, because there's two issues combined in one. And so regardless of checks, the first question is specifically around reviewing and approving sponsorships. Do we agree? Does anyone disagree that we should separate those two items? And
That's fine.
I'm gonna make an emergency call.
okay,
I would just like to leave it at the $4,000 right now, frankly, until we have our full-time executive. I'm pleased that he has check signing authority for, $38. I think anything over $4,000, I think that's legitimate to ask, and I'm in town for the next couple of months.
okay.
So get it done, Steve.
All right, so we don't need a motion to change that, that's the same, but do we want to motion to modify our sponsorship? Where
No, I'm fine with him going back to just telling us what he's doing instead of us telling him
all right,
what we think. Unless y'all want to meet every month,
nope,
go over the
Well,
lines.
and unless there's one that you're maybe
Yeah,
not comfortable with, or
Absolutely.
exactly,
Yeah, one on
you
today's
can always
agenda.
feel free
Yeah.
to present.
yeah.
all right.
And we have to remember too, is if he turns down something or cuts back on something, they may come see us.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
They
that-
can.
Yeah, and that's okay.
I would like you all to consider revisiting that once the permanent director is appointed, because we've just raised credit card limits to $7,000 essentially for staff. So that means if a credit card bill is at that amount, you're gonna have to sign that check. So you are, these bylaws are considerably dated. So if you think about inflation and rise of cost, with it being a budgeted item, you're hiring your executive director to run the show. And so if it's part of the budget, then I think you do need to give them some flexibility in that, because there are gonna be times if you were hosting an event and they have to pay for a stage, it could be over that $4,000 limit. So once things are back in motion, full speed, yeah, maybe signing a lot more checks. So I would just look at maybe raising that amount to either $7,000 or $10,000 as long as it's part of a budgeted item. Because once you approve the budget, you essentially are saying, spend the money how we've approved this.
But you're still saying a limit though, not just remove it completely. So
Yeah.
There need to be some
I think
safeguards.
limits and boundaries are still good.
Correct, yeah. Yeah, we don't want to open the floodgates so that the bank account can be cleared out necessarily, but, $10,000 in this day and age
Not a lot.
for big events is not a lot to write, because like you mentioned, advertising expenses are easily $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. A stage or a sound technician could be $5,000 or $6,000. So depending on what time of year you're in, you could be looking at a lot of checks.
So we're leaving it as is right now.
Tabled until.
Yes,
Director.
okay, so no change to that.
But I do have one more thing to say. As you are amending the bylaws, this is in the bylaws, so
Right.
this is
We'll have
probably
to
an
fix it in
amendment that will
bylaws.
have to be made. So I don't know if that's worth revisiting or not.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
I didn't blue or red that number, I left it there.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll leave it as is for now. However, I do want to make a motion to allow sponsorship requests to be approved by the director.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay.
Moving on at the Comer House, we had a recent particularly windy storm, and there were some really nice leaks in the upstairs offices. So we contacted Strum Roofing in Gallatin within the county, who came out, identified some missing shingles and other damage on the roof, most of which was not new, and they came out on July 5th and repaired the roof for a price of $450. That's done.
Okay.
Did you call Rogers?
I have
Does
not
it say?
called Rogers, but I will do that.
Okay.
Going on to marketing and advertising, we renewed our agreement with the National Visitors Guide for a full-page print ad for 2025, and that includes a digital ad as well. We will update the existing advertisement to include a QR code which will link to our website. The current advertisement does not have any link to our digital media, so there's no way to track its effectiveness. So this will allow us to do that and determine what the impact is of that advertisement. In addition, we're going to change a couple of the pictures to reflect some things that are unique to Sumner County as opposed to the other surrounding counties, rather than just pictures of food and drink everybody has. So we want to bring them to our county and tell them why we're special as opposed to the other 5 or 6 around Nashville. We purchased a place-based data package from Zardico. I know there has been discussion in the past about this technology. We went with Zardico as opposed to Placer AI, who several of the municipalities in the area have chosen to go with. Placer AI, it was developed for retail and it tracks foot traffic. This article was designed by a tourism director from the state of Utah who designed it for tourism. And it gives us dollars. And so we can actually measure the revenue, the impact on the county in dollars and in foot traffic. In addition, Placer AI uses multipliers and extrapolations to come up with their numbers. This article uses real whole numbers. So it's a very effective tool. We've been going around introducing me to the various chambers. They were so excited to tell us about their Placer AI purchase, either through the chamber or their economic development department. And then when we told them what we had, they're like, oh, will you share with us? So I think we made the right decision. We're excited about this. And I've included in your packet this page that's kind of blue to it, just a sample report of very global numbers that you just generated. This is an unmanipulated report. You can dive into this so deep, you could spend weeks on it.
I think the other benefit of going with Zartico is that Zartico is what the state of Tennessee tourism uses as well for their data. So it aligns with that. We can do a direct comparison to the state of Tennessee as well as Sumner County, so we can see that. So
We've got a 10% discount because of that.
That's right.
Three things that this will accomplish for us. One, it will allow us to assess the impact of events that people come to us for sponsorship. Now, we can actually tell them, if they don't already know the real numbers of their event, what money that brought into the county, what percentage of their attendees were from outside the county, and we can then better assess the event for future sponsorships, and we can assist that entity in perhaps targeting more people from outside the county in the next year.
How far back can we go from the data?
To 2021.
So we can go back to 2021. So that's good. That means we can look at the last 3 years of Sumner County data and we can line that up with sponsorships we've done in the past. Is that right?
Yeah, I was going to pull a report like that today, but the data is still being built. We should be completely built by the end of July. The second thing it allows us to do, if someone goes to our website, our digital advertising for Sumner County Tourism, and clicks on our webpage, either through a print media QR code or just to a website, and then let's say 2 months later they show up here in the county and spend money, Zartico tracks that. So we can determine the effectiveness of our digital advertising and tweak it to target the right customer. You may find that and I'm just throwing out numbers, so no offense to anybody, but let's say the customer from Kentucky pays $100 on average, but the customer from Chicago pays $300 on average. We're going to target the customer from Chicago because that has more value to the community, to the county. And so it's very specific on allowing us to intelligently use this data to market moving forward. And the third thing, and I'm really excited about this, and I hope you're listening to this. We can drill down in this information. I can literally pick his, is it a retail operation?
Kayak rental.
Okay, I can pick his kayak rental and pull reports on people that have gone there and spent money and come back to him and tell him where his customers are coming from, what percentage are from outside the county, how much they're spending, and all those patterns, and then help him market that to a greater audience. So now we can become the brain trust marketing gurus, which is we have a sales director, a marketing director, all with great knowledge of how to do this. And using this data, we can help any entity in the county grow their business of people coming from outside the county. And we intend to do that. So we'll join in partnership with the chambers to do that. Are there any questions on Zartico? I wanted to really help you understand that. So the next thing I have in the packet, just a real quick thing, is for your information. As we've been doing this last month, the question has come up, and it was my own question as well, is print advertising of any value anymore? Should we still be printing brochures and all these things that we see at the entry welcome centers and so forth, or is everything digital online? And there's a report here, the study that was done, and it is from 2018, so it's before the pandemic. But I have confidence that it hasn't changed too much because of the results that they came up with. And I just wanted to highlight, and I've given you the whole packet of the report, but you can read that when you have leisure time if you have such a thing. but some of the high points of that is 4 out of 5 visitors pick up a brochure during their trip. That's 79% of visitors. 3 out of 4 were influenced by a brochure in the market at their destination. That's almost 75% of the people. More than 4 out of 5 visitors became aware of an attraction or business as a result of picking up a brochure. And nearly 3 out of 4 visitors would consider altering their plans because of a brochure. More than 3 out of 5 visitors plan to purchase tickets or merchandise they learned about from a brochure. More than 5 out of 10 visitors value information about current exhibits, events, and attractions, particularly women, rates a little bit higher as a result of brochures. More than 5 out of 10 visitors find brochures to be a tangible, easy-to-use hard copy of information. I don't know the age breakdown of that specific one, but it's interesting. Over half of the visitors believe brochures are trustworthy, where people are not as trustworthy of digital information. And nearly half of visitors appreciate that brochures are convenient and always available. And half of visitors value discount coupons and so forth that they find, especially when traveling with a group. So as you read through this report, you'll find that, as expected, the more senior the traveler, the more likely that they like brochures. But what's shocking is it's the younger crowd as well is tracking just as much as the seniors that have interest in brochures. I didn't see that information coming. I was shocked. So good news. So you can play with that one on your own. The other thing that we're excited about, and the newest and greatest trend in tourism, if you didn't already realize this, is AI. What is happening in the travel world is if somebody wants to plan a trip, they're going to talk to their computer or their phone, and they're going to say, I want to go to somewhere and do this and this and this. Plan me my trip. And AI is going to plan their trip. And in the future, this is going to be how travel is done. And people are going to show up at wherever they are with their little printout of what their computer told them to do. And this is the newest wave. So we now have the ability through one of our vendors that we're already working with to add a travel buddy to our website and any digital print media that we have. So they'll link to it through a QR code or it'll be on the website. And that little travel buddy will allow them to create an itinerary right there on our website. And it prioritizes everything in our database, meaning all of our businesses that we already work with in the county. Then after that, it goes out to the internet for other options.
So a couple questions on that. I know how AI works, right? It's half rules-based and it works based on how much data and information you feed to it. So it's reliant on the database you have. Is there a plan to collect additional data from the municipalities' chambers of commerce to make sure that it's more comprehensive so that it can help, other business owners in each of those municipalities get on the radar for the AI buddy?
Yeah, we asked that same question, and we can manipulate that information by adding more and more data, and it does always pick our data. What was the word she used? Not our database, but it was our.
They always choose our information over the rest.
Yeah. So we are prioritized, and they won't go anywhere outside until they've already gone through our database. Yeah, and it's an education. It's always going to be changing. Every day we have to feed more information in to keep on track.
That's good to know. I think what would be a good way for businesses who are connected to tourism type activities to make sure that you have their information in their database?
That is part of Maddie's new position that we're changing from director of sales, but also director of sales and outreach. She's going to spend part of her time just reaching out to those unique businesses in the county that only we have. So I'm not going to help McDonald's. Sorry, they're on their own. But if I've got an independent store here in town that just is a little bit different than anywhere else, we're going to hit them up and say, let's put you on the map. Or if we have a restaurant that's a mom and pop that's not a chain, we're going to put you on the map. Or if you have a destination, a tourist spot of any kind, a garden or whatever that you want on there, a petting zoo, we're going to put you on the map. And so she's going to actually spend a lot of time just driving around the county, I think, looking for things.
And if I may add, the company that we're currently working with is ITI Digital. So when you go onto our website and go to our eat and stay and play in our events area, everything that you see is curated by them. Everything we get to approve on our own. And so all of our upcoming restaurants and local businesses and events in the area, I approve, and now Cameron will approve almost daily, just to make sure everything is filtered through correctly and is filtered right towards tourism. And so all of that is updated by Google. So the AI Travel Buddy will not only hit our website, but it will also continuously update as their businesses update on Google as well. And then we can also place any Zardico information that we find in it. So they work hand in hand.
So if a business shuts down, they'll have that figured out, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
So
we
it will
won't have any
automatically-
updated information.
Right.
That's the beauty of it.
Because it seems like as soon as it's printed in a brochure, it's out of date.
And that is why we push QR codes in this year's travel guide.
Yeah.
So it's always up to date.
One more question on that, and then I'll stop asking questions. When you think about chambers of commerce, you typically have events geared towards members of the chamber and other businesses. We have some interesting tools that are now going to be available for people to use. Would it make sense to have some type of an event that the chambers can help us, like help notify business owners of, where they can come and, you know, learn about, leverage the data from Zardico, or engage in a different way and be able to be active on the AI, some of those things that will help them promote their businesses as well.
I think so. I think let us have a month to maybe get our arms around this, because I've been spending time on there, and it's literally overwhelming. You're seeing like 1,000th of what's available in there in this report. It's phenomenal. The demographics. I mean, there's one screen where we can actually in real time watch traffic patterns in the county, and it determines who are local, who are from out of the county. And I'm watching them move around on the highway.
That's way too much information.
Via the cell phone data, is that correct?
Yeah. And the spending is done through credit card now.
And I'll just look into towards.
Oh, you still have.
I still have an old phone number, so.
It does not necessarily track your phone number, but it tracks how long you've been in the area. So if you've lived here for a while, it won't track that. It will know your
Yeah,
local.
it's smart.
Yes.
Interesting, okay, interesting.
And where did you start? Was it more than 50 miles outside?
Oh,
We thought this
wow.
all through. Yeah. It's phenomenal.
You know way too much about me.
So,
All of us.
Well, you can always leave your phone at home.
so moving forward,
funny.
both Zardico and the AI component are going to be money that comes out of the ARPA budget, which is their ARPA is looking for transformational marketing, and that's what these two items are.
Okay, good.
All right, I've enclosed a packet, a proposed fiscal year 25 budget, and it's based on the approval last night of the county budget committee, and assuming that that gets passed by the commission, we propose that budget to you. It does include marketing grant funds from ARPA and from the marketing grant funds.
Real quick, the ARPA that was the grant that we could not give, well, we could not budget less money.
Right.
Okay,
Than we did
so
in
we could budget
2022.
the exact same.
That's right.
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes. There, I will be frank. Our finance director believes that we may have lost that because he is translating what the Commissioner of Tourism, Mark Ezell, said at the 2022 level. He's translating, which was $689,000. That's where our funding was supposed to stay from the county at $689,000. He's translating that into traditional county government maintenance of effort. So maintenance of effort means not one penny less year over year. Well then, so that was the 22 year. I know, look at me like that. I'm still taking classes on it. So $689,000 in 22, and then in the 23 year they were given $744 because they were given a boon of $27,500 from the hospital fund. They, because I wasn't on the board, but tourism was given that. So last year we gave them only $731,680. But county mayor was in the hall last night and he still believes that they are going to honor that at the 689,000 mark, which at
But that's the
7:31.
baseline.
Yes, that at 7:31 that we meet that. And I have not yet spoken again to Mr. Rossett from the state, but, so that would be the only hitch that David Lawing thinks perhaps we may have already lost it. It also may have something to do with when we pass our county budget, which hopefully will go through the end of July. But nevertheless, 731,000 is better than 546.
So we're getting the same amount we got last year.
Correct.
Okay, that's what I was trying to
That's
figure
what
out.
went through workshop last
Gotcha.
night.
Good.
So,
So is he, do we have to give him permission to review that? Correct? The ARPA and all that?
no, Mark's taking care of that through the state because the
Okay.
grant is handed down from the state. And the reason that's why I sent all of y'all that information,
Okay.
the PowerPoint presentations, et cetera. And it looks like in the PowerPoint, it was just keeping at that 22 level. So David may be reading this through the lens of traditional, he's
Maintenance of efforts.
So, yeah.
Okay.
The only thing to be aware of on this budget, you'll see under sponsorships, I didn't break it out line by line, I just put a total of 150,000 at the bottom. We do intend to reduce sponsorships this year and do more in the way of marketing, advertising support instead of throwing money at people. And so the ultimate result with this budget would be an excess of positive sum of $70 at the end of the year.
For any of the disciplines?
But we are, that's why I say I didn't itemize it,
Yeah.
I just gave you a total.
Are some of these, these are for these are for July 1st through next June, correct?
Say that again.
These are
Fiscal
for
year.
this fiscal
This is for
year.
fiscal year 25.
Yes, okay.
I think I remember when the guy who came, maybe I'm wrong, but the guy that came that had done the audit before who does that, he said that there was a little bit of a concern that we were making money and we weren't supposed to be making money. Did I hear that wrong?
Yeah, but that's not an issue because we're a corporation, there's no requirement. It's
You
not a
just said that
nonprofit
it was
organization, it's a corporation.
That's what I'm saying. That.
Nonprofits are allowed to make money as long as it's related to our purpose.
And corporations are allowed.
A lot of times nonprofits will make lots of money this year and lose a lot of money next year.
Yeah, I know. I realize that.
I'm the chair of one of those that does that.
I just remember him saying that. That was odd.
I noticed you reduced plumbing. Is that safe? That's an old house.
I might have to get my overalls on.
Have you, while looking at grants, you guys will be persistently looking for other grants for income?
Yes, I am actually being very creative on some ideas, but I'm not ready to present those yet. But always looking for that.
Under professional development, the other line increased significantly, is that, what is in that?
bottom of first page. Yeah, well, it said it was the budget was 4,000, but we only spent just 674.
Yeah, it's just.
It's like budget at the same amount as last time.
Yeah, I just carried over this year, it's really for the purpose of conferences and, getting up to speed for myself and our new team. We maybe a few more conferences and trainings than we've had in the past.
Maybe I'm not reading right, because we went up on payroll, but we went down on position. Am I right?
Well,
Secretary. Looking at it right?
no, the budget went down.
Proposed budget is down.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, because you got budget and you got actual,
Yeah.
so you gotta parse through that.
They have come down. I think they're cutting.
Yeah. I know, I don't do well with numbers, so.
When he returns, we can just jump into sponsorships, yeah.
We need to approve this budget.
Do we need to approve it? No. We don't approve it. The commission
Is it in the bylaws?
No,
Oh, no, we don't.
the budget is the budget.
Yeah, this goes to, county commission that approves it, or
County commission will never see this.
All they do is prove the total
All
amount,
they do is approve the total
the total
amount.
expenditure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
the total from the county.
They approve
Right,
the
right.
731,680.
Right.
I'm sorry. And y'all are asking me, is it in?
It's in the bylaws that we adopt the budget, so we.
I was gonna say, I think we need to
I was
vote.
gonna say, is
Yeah,
it in
there
the
needs to be a
bylaws?
vote
I've
on
read
Yeah,
it.
that's what I thought. I think we need to vote on it.
But but adopting and approving are different.
Right.
I agree. Are you motioning to adopt it?
I am motioning that we accept this budget as presented to the board.
A second, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Very good.
Moving forward on sponsorships, some that we approved in the month of June, Tennessee Basket for $32.50. Big Fest, you're aware for $5,000, I think that was done here. And I don't know what Tennessee Trans Am or Ramos is, but it's a decent.
Car show, Trans Am car show.
Okay, Trans Am, yeah. They still make those?
Smokey and the Bear.
No.
They do.
but
Oh.
Do you remember last year in the summertime when Trans Ams were just like
I do.
parading around
Yes.
playing?
That was it.
That's this.
All right, and in July, we approved a truck and tractor pull for $17.50 and the kayak bass fishing national championship out on the lake for $2,000. The one that was still in front of the board last time was Bold Aviation. They requested $15,000. They came back to us with some additional information. I've summarized that here. If we split their estimated 24 attendance with the 23 actual, we arrive at about 1,550 attendees. 30 to 40% are estimated to be from outside the county, resulting in about 542 people from outside the county. Zardico tells us that the average spend per person is $103. So that event would bring about $55,800 into the county. And last year we sponsored them for $2,750.
Is that a flyer?
Yes.
Yes. It's short take, STOL, short takeoff and landing, or landing.
So my first inclination that their request of 15,000 is excessive, given that we paid them a small fraction last year. But I wanted this one to come before the board.
They're bringing that 55,000 is a good chunk. 15,000 is also a good chunk, and I don't know that I would approve.
Well, let me compare it to USSSA, which we paid, what, 30,000, 25,000, and they brought in $3 million.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the kind of numbers we should be running.
I'd be comfortable with either sponsored last year, maybe up to 5,000. I think 15,000 is.
I didn't hear what you said there, aviation.
It's a fly in and fly off, short landing.
It's short takeoff and landing competition.
It's held
A
on
flying, they meet at different airports and fly.
Kind of an airport, yeah, it's an airplane thing.
Yeah.
Music City.
Or whatever the name is this week.
I had to learn that the hard way.
City
So
executive.
5,000 feels good? Is there anyone that doesn't like that number?
I don't,
Yeah.
I've compromised it.
I think that we were having this conversation today, we think that year over year, we should be able to continue trimming this down a little bit as we get better data, but we're willing to keep a little bit out of ignorance. That's fine.
Yeah. What I would say is, hey, we're not going to give you the whole amount, but what we'll do is give you a portion of it, and we'll offer to provide you with data and insights from this so you can market it more effectively and increase your visitors for the next time.
I like that. I'm good with 3,000 actually.
I'm okay with 3,000 as well.
And this is why, because if it rains that weekend, guess what doesn't happen?
Nothing.
Yeah. You know, all things considered. I'd rather be out 3,000 and give them 10 hours of your time and data. And then,
That's
yeah,
ultimately
then we
going to
can
be
go.
more valuable
It's so
to
easy to
them
talk
than
about is providing more marketing.
15,000.
Right, yeah, I'm much,
As opposed to a lot of money. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of a niche event as well. My husband did go to it last year and he said it was amazingly fun. But if it hadn't been held at the airport that I had to drive past and call him and tell him about, he never would have known.
Yeah, no, it was very poorly advertised.
Yeah.
Correct.
so you're saying leave it lower and give them data?
Yes.
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 I think
Yes,
I
so
think that they would benefit more from insights.
marketing and.
Yeah, marketing and insights versus cash in hand.
Did they
Frankly.
did they fill out an application?
Yes.
Where it said like what?
Yeah, we've got it.
We went over it.
Yeah.
I think Mandy mentioned the t-shirt sales and
Yeah.
she wondered about, she had lots of questions, so
I think they gave away more t-shirts than they sold.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
So-
you can if somebody is paying for them.
Right.
And their biggest expenditure, if I remember correctly, was that they have to pay a fee to the STOL.
And to the airports, right, and to the
In order
airports.
to hold an official event.
$25,000.
Right, so it seems to me that if that's like a huge portion of your expenditure to hold this event, why are the participants not being asked to pay more money to participate in an event? Sorry, that's just me.
No, I agree, because that's your licensing fee.
Yeah.
Yes, and usually those are the people, because it is a competition, correct?
I think it was, yes.
So I would think that you would pay to get into, that's how that works. You pay to race the car, you pay to do those things, so, yeah.
Well, that gives me guidelines. I'll go back to them and we'll talk about that.
Okay.
So the next step is the next point there. It's been expressed on more than one occasion that sometimes we don't know how our sponsorship funds are used by these groups. And perhaps they're just stocking up or using it to rent porta potties, we don't know. So I propose that effectively we require receipts either prior to the checks being written, if we're reimbursing, or for them to provide receipts after the fact in order to be considered for next year's sponsorship, so that we can track how our money is being used. It doesn't mean they'll be excluded, but we need to see kind of how this is being used.
Well, and a lot of these, now granted, some of these softball tournaments bring in a lot of money. But it seems like some of the smaller ones, you were being asked to give a sum of money, a lump sum of money. And then all of these hotel rooms and meals and this and that, which I don't feel that, we as a board had a whole lot of clarity into that, how much these sponsorships truly were costing.
Well, I can tell you this, after 38 years in the hotel industry, I've never heard of a public entity paying for a room for a group. It was the hotel that absorbed that cost. If I want to book my hotel full for a group, I had to comp a couple of rooms. It shouldn't come from our budget.
Right.
That's just a no-no. So, yeah, I agree. And
Yeah, because when I first had to start signing checks, when Zoe had gone, I was like, what am I writing checks? Why am I writing checks to Civitan and why am I writing checks to this or the other?
Yeah,
Well, the one was
Hampton Inn or
the
whatever.
Isaacs and it was $3,300. But we had sponsored the Isaacs for $11,000, and then there was the check to the policeman who did the security at the Memorial Day thing, and it was piecemeal. And I do understand that it's easier when we help like Hendersonville Parks and Rec to not write the government a check, because then the aldermen have to vote on it, accept it, and it's a funnel through general fund. I understand that, but I do prefer the idea of writing a lump sum check, or if we cannot do that, then if we can't do that, then certainly the receipts. I do like that idea. And thank you, Mark, because that helps clarify, and I think that's better for accounting practices too.
I think that there needs to be a lot more transparency than there seems to have been in the past.
I want to agree. In Robertson County, the grant process for tourism is reimbursement exclusively. It is not before the event. So you submit your grant and you line item what you are requesting those funds for. And then once your event is over, you send in your report with your data on attendance. And then you have to show a paid receipt or a check in order to get the reimbursement for your grant. And so I think that's something to look into.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I take it you've had to go through that
Yes.
since your chamber is
And
shared
it
between two
is more
counties?
work for the grant recipient, but you're getting money
Yeah.
for, right. And so then you are, certain that they have, or more certain that they have spent it on what they have requested that money for.
Not porta potties and garbage cans.
Yeah.
so I've already, with the groups, ones that have come in this week, we've already started asking for that information.
Yeah.
Good. So that's what we're doing.
Very good.
Under finance, John Poole CPA has submitted a request to perform our annual audit for the coming year, same fee of $5,000. And I think that probably needs to be signed.
I have something to say to that. I would not have said it had you not put it on the thing, but when Kelly left, she gave me a packet of information with emergency call list, Comer House contacts, etc. And then one under finances. I am loath to do this with the camera on, but this is government. And the annual audit, she said she named the regular accountant. And then she mentioned John Poole, a CPA, conducted last year's audit. But you may want to consider other options due to performance concerns. I did not see this till after she had quit. So I don't know what those performance concerns are, but it is possible that we may want to look in. Someone could call Kelly and ask her. I don't know why she put that there. There's no explanation. So I feel it incumbent upon me, since that was brought up, to say that to you all, to read this off of her notes.
Well, Poole did it for the first time last year, I believe.
Okay.
Before that, we had another company which was like half the price. However, they stopped doing audits.
And we were
Oh,
told at that time that to find a company that was strictly doing audits, or that was their specialty, it would cost us twice as much, so.
So was it McMurray Fox?
Yeah.
That's who had been doing it.
It's Ronnie
Oh,
Fox's
okay.
company, and they quit
Alright.
doing audits.
Oh, okay. Well, I just
So it,
thought,
so it could be it was just done differently than what she was expecting it to be done, because it was a different company, I don't know.
And McMurray Fox was actually doing, it was the regular account, the CPA.
They were the
that was
accountant that was,
Yeah.
doing the audit, yeah.
So to your point, it could be just that he had a whole lot more questions.
It's different, yeah.
Yeah.
Confused, your CPA was doing an audit of
No, it's a
himself?
CPA firm that was doing the audit. They were not
They
our,
weren't our CPA.
Okay.
they were not our CPA.
No.
They were a CPA
That was
firm,
the firm
but then they
that-
stopped doing
No, that
doing
would be a
audits.
conflict of interest.
John
Yeah.
Poole, so
But-
John Poole is a CPA.
Right.
yeah.
He did the audit last year. It's 5,000 for him to do it this year if we want to use him. Kelly is saying
We may
we may want to
consider a
someone
different
else.
option.
And
She said, stated for performance concerns, and I will offer this to the minutes if y'all want to put it in the minutes.
My other concern is I went back through the minutes for when this tourism changed names and got started. We've only had review audits. We've never had a full audit done. And I think that when we're going to put on a new director, I think we need to have a full audit done. And to start clean, start fresh, whatever. And a full audit should be done. Yes, we're a small corporation, whatever. You can do review audits every 3 to maybe 5 years, but you should have a full audit done like every 3 years. You could do the review on the in-between, but we really need to look at doing a full audit because there's never been one done.
I believe the IRS has recommendations based on the 990 as what your budget is as to whether or not a review is acceptable or a full audit is acceptable. So that may be something that needs to be researched too, because I believe once you hit $500,000, that it's recommended that at least once every 5 years you have a full audit.
Yeah.
So if we've never had one since incorporation, which would have been 18.
Which we wouldn't have had $500,000 until just about 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, so.
So now would be a good time to
so
do
we
it.
would,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Well, I would like to add also, as a corporation, you got a fiduciary duty. If you want to stay away from being personally liable for any of this stuff, you definitely will want to do that.
So back to the point, should we be, asking for RFP for a full audit versus just
Versus a review audit.
yeah. And I think that should go out for RFP.
Yeah, because that's more expensive than the 5,000.
I agree with that.
We'll find a way. Do you want me to handle that at my level?
I think so.
Just last thing, digital tracking, just wanted to see some numbers. These are the last 90-day numbers. Everything is down, some very significantly. There's 3 statistics there. It's number of follows, the number of visits, and the actual reach, which is how much depth we get with our efforts. All 3, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok are down. I'm presenting this to you just as a baseline. I'll continue to report these numbers to you and show you that there will be an increase due to our efforts in marketing those areas.
This is for the Sumner County Tourism
Yes.
Facebook page, Instagram.
I would think that this would be a time when they would be down anyway, because if you're planning a trip, you're planning it 6 months in advance. You're not planning it the month before usually, I would think. So if somebody was making plans to come here this summer, they were probably doing it more than 90 days out,
That could be true.
would be my guess.
We're also going to target engagement through what's called Reels. If you're not young, you may not know what that is, but short videos.
I see them all the time on Facebook.
Some man or woman on the street interviews and a little bit of comedy and infused into it, and going out to some of the events and locations and posting this pretty regularly. So we're going to increase, it's called engagement in all 3 of these things.
Hope they're smarter than some of them I see.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. Thank you for the report. Next item is the next working board meeting. Meetings monthly. Historically, it's been every other month.
If we're not gonna be doing this, sponsorship, but that was one of the reasons we started to.
That's why we're meeting, yeah.
Sponsorship, if we're taking that off our plate and putting it on Mark's plate, then we go back to every other month.
I'm comfortable with every other month.
Yeah, I am too. So this is
Go
a
back
July
to-
meeting.
Go back to
We've
the normal
accepted our
schedule.
budget.
So September
September.
You've got to meet in September anyway.
Yeah, September would be our annual meeting.
You all have always met kind of regular on a certain Tuesday.
It was the
Tuesday
third
after-
Thursday or second or third Thursday.
Tuesday after
Tuesday.
full commission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
Does that pattern
Feel like
still
I've
work?
got a hangover.
Yeah, we just started that the last year before that was a,
We will not have
It wasn't.
commission. When is Labor Day?
The second.
Labor Day is the 2nd. Constitution Day is the 17th.
Yeah.
Hey, are you kidding me? That's the most important holiday of the year.
Are you gonna dress up like George Washington?
I can.
I think
Well, normally we do
it might be safe to do it the 24th because I don't recall when we set our calendar if we're gonna have meetings the Tuesday after.
I don't remember the commission's meeting changing for September.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think it did either.
Because we have, if we don't meet on Monday, we don't have committee meetings that day.
Right.
Well, but often, usually, a lot of times those committee meetings are just postponed till the next day.
Right, but I don't
Tuesday.
recall that they were. So we could just be safe and do it that last week.
The 24th.
The 24th.
24th. Okay. 4
We
p.m.
are all going to be at the governor's conference in Chattanooga.
Never mind.
Oh.
So
I guess we
17th
shouldn't
is
meet
probably the day.
Well, let's do it that other Tuesday. Does it matter? As long as we do it the third Tuesday, it doesn't matter if it's after commission or not.
Yeah,
That'd be
that's
the
fine.
17th.
17th. So
Yeah,
September 17th.
I think that's what it's been is the third Tuesday, because I've got that in my calendar already, so.
Yeah, I know we had also discussed
Yep.
changing the meeting start time, because traditionally, I guess they've always been at 4 p.m. And there was some talk that, well, that's a little early for people who are trying to come from work. Was there any desire to change that?
I'm okay with changing it or leaving it. It's up to you.
It doesn't matter to me either. I just remember there were a couple.
I mean, initially, yeah, that was a total, it's been a total pain, but now I'm used to it, so.
Oh, 4 o'clock. I kind of like 4 o'clock because.
Let's just leave it.
Is that all right? As long
Oh,
as
no,
you
that's
can-
fine.
yeah.
I just wanted to make
No,
sure that was.
right now,
question
the only issue we have is Deborah, because like she's in a work study she's in planning right now. But, that's,
Yeah, but she said they start at 4.
yeah.
Oh, is that why she couldn't be here?
So Tuesdays are gonna be a problem for her regardless, so I say we just leave it at 4.
Okay.
Okay.
And go back to every other month.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
September 11, September.
17th.
September, November, sorry, I was thinking 9, 11.
Yeah, and November would be the 19th,
Yeah.
which is not, sometimes it's Thanksgiving week, but that's
It's
not. That's the week
Thanksgiving's late
before.
this year,
Yeah,
so
that's the
yeah.
week before.
And
so we're-
so September is the beginning of the new year.
Correct.
So this is my last meeting with you all. And, right, because I served for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So next one will be, what, is that Westmoreland, which,
It's Tracy, who's relatively new in the position.
okay.
I would recommend at some point, you might consider more than a 1-year term for your chamber executive, since your citizens have a 2-year term, because it takes about a year to figure out what's going on here before they can really give you good feedback. Had I not been on this board previously, I would have been completely in the dark.
And the Westmoreland person coming on will be totally clueless because she's never been here at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, is that something where we can have the director connect to?
It has to be through resolution.
No need not to do anything, but just say, hey, this is what to expect in the coming year when you're
Yeah.
part of the board or maybe like
Yeah, she'll need to be contacted. She'll need to be contacted. The way the bylaws are written, it doesn't have to be the director, I don't think. It could, she could have the president come or somebody like that if she wanted. But it-
or maybe, or Mandy, maybe you could even just do a handoff.
Yeah.
Yes, I will.
But
I'll email her.
it needs to be somebody consistent, not a different person every meeting.
They will have to be approved through committee on
Right.
committee, so that she will want to have her name submitted for August committee on committee meetings.
What is the deadline for that and who does she need to go?
Oh, golly, it's already almost August, the 1st of August. And just send it to Jeremy Mansfield, he's chairman of committee on committees. And copy the entire board. Go ahead and have her copy the commission, that way all the commissioners will see her resume and her, I guess if she wants to write a letter of introduction.
What I will do is I will introduce Tracy to Mark and Maddie, and then allow them to guide her in how this process needs to work. So
Yeah.
tomorrow morning, I will introduce them via email, let her know that she will be taking on this role, that I'll be available to her if she has questions, but then let them guide her, because I don't want to mess up all the emails where they need to go and that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's fine.
And, but yes, yeah.
So, do we need a motion for the next board meeting, or do we just, if this is,
You need a motion.
just decided, I don't, is that something that requires a motion?
Yes.
We'll make, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to accept that we go back to our regular bi-monthly meetings beginning in September, the third Tuesday, September of 24, November of 24, January of 25, March of 25,
I second.
May.
Yeah.
At what time?
4 p.m.
I know, I just put it on my calendar. But if somebody wants to, when they end the day, never.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion to adjourn?
No,
Apparently not.
We have to.
I need a motion. You want me to get you through this quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
I need a motion and a second to reconsider the tourism board's bylaws.
I'll make a motion to reconsider. Apparently, we have some changes to make.
Everybody second?
Second.
Okay, need to vote on it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed?
Let's be prevailing side, so we're good.
Okay.
So, yeah, I think we got that covered. I only found $4,000 referenced once, so my suggestion is it's on, it's 6.8K. It says not to exceed $4,000. I think if we simply change that not to exceed amount set by the board,
Okay.
then that gives you latitude to do this by meeting and not having to have a 2/3 every time you want to change this.
So just cross out not to exceed?
Yes, so we
No,
now
keep not to exceed, but cross out 4,000.
Oh, no, okay, sorry.
now I need a motion to accept the bylaws as is amended to include nominal typos and the change in the $4,000 amount. Okay. All right, need a vote.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
All right, we're
Motion's
good.
approved. Okay.
We should have probably done the bylaws at the end of the meeting.
So how about that motion to adjourn?
Right.
Motion.
Oh, now we need a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Okay.
That's the
Yeah.
first time a motion to reconsider worked for me.
Well, that's because everybody voted for it, so everybody was on prevailing side.
Everybody just wanted that here too.
I know.